What is going on, everyone? Please answer in the comment section below. I love hearing how people are doing. Of course, unless your name's Lloyd and you're from Salt Lake City and you can't quit calling me a soy boy. I've never eaten soy. It seems kind of gross. I do know a bunch of UFC fighters swear by it. I'm not sure why you think this is an insult, but all right. Moving on. Today we're going to take a look at everyone's favorite punching bag, California. In case you've never made it through a U.S. geography class, California is right here. It's on the left side of the United States. California is known for Hollywood, beautiful beaches, suntan lotion, and the Golden Gate Bridge. Ever since some bearded frontiersmen found gold at Sutter's Mill, California has been the destination for people seeking their fortune. After gold kind of washed up, it was oil, then it was Hollywood, and then there was tech. There's always been a draw to California. The draw is still there for a lot of people. The only difference is a higher percentage don't see it anymore. They don't feel that draw and they're leaving for one reason or another. The exodus of California started around the early 1990s. The Golden State was losing between 400 and 600,000 residents and their kids every single year. While during that time, they were only gaining about 300 to 350,000. So, depends on where it was, but they could have been losing anywhere from 50,000 to 250,000. It was bad. During the late 90s and the early 2000s, there was a giant difference in the loss versus gains. Some years saw as many as 200,000 people leaving than coming in. As we entered the new century, there wasn't much of a difference. It was pretty close to being even. But as we got close to the recession, California had a serious spike in the percentage of people leaving versus coming in. Until the last couple of years, the exodus has started picking up steam again. So let's find out why they're all leaving. In my top 10 reasons people are leaving California. Number 10, traffic. If you didn't see traffic being on this list, you haven't been paying attention. Los Angeles and San Francisco are in the top 5 for worst traffic every single year since forever. Sacramento, San Jose, and San Diego aren't too far off that list either. I grew up in the LA area and traffic has always been bad. I think I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I've been stuck on LA freeways in such bad traffic, my car didn't move for over 15 minutes, like at a complete standstill. I've actually had conversations on the 405 freeway with other people in the cars next to me, more than once. Number 9. It's not business friendly. Now, you can read different things on why California is one of the best places for business. Those things will always seem like they're promoting why a company should move to California or at least stay. They will tell you about their educated workforce and how all these other companies have started in the Golden State. But the fact is, major companies are leaving and small businesses claim the state of California is actually hostile towards small businesses. Here's some of the corporations that have left or are planning to leave California. Now, before I get to this list, you should know most of them are heading to Texas. Toyota North America is gone. Nissan North America is gone. Nestle USA is gone. Jamba Juice is gone. Even Chevron, who's been in California forever, has moved 800 jobs from the Bay Area to Texas. There's a bunch of other ones that are moving to Pennsylvania. Even Carl's Jr., which started in California and has been there for decades, up and left. Number 8, natural disasters. Earthquakes, wildfires, mudslides, and Kardashians. California has some of the worst disasters in the country. Now, I've worked a forest fire, and it was scary. I've been in too many earthquakes to remember, and I've binge-watched a season or two of the Kardashians. So I've seen some pretty scary stuff. Every year, wildfires and mudslides wreak havoc on the state of California. You also have coastal erosion. Whole portions of California coastline are literally falling into the ocean right now. I know one area near where I used to live, up in this place, Palos Verdes. I lived in Redondo down in the lowlands, but there's an area of Palos Verdes called Portuguese Bend that's been sliding into the ocean for years, and they keep fixing the road so you can keep going through. It's not moving fast, but it's slowly falling into the ocean. Number 7, opportunity. California ranks 49th in a stat they call opportunity. This is when you measure affordability, equality, and economic opportunity. The only one they beat was Louisiana. It's not saying too much for your state when the only one preventing you from being dead last in any stat is Louisiana. That's like coming in second to last in a foot race. The only one you beat was a sumo wrestler in high heels dragging a sofa bed behind him by a strap around one ankle. Basically, what that stat is telling you, chances of you making a good life for yourself in California are slim at best. Number 6, taxes. Taxes are one of the biggest complaints anyone has about any state. Taxes were originally a really good idea. Everyone gives a little bit of their money so they could fix things around town or maybe help support like the town's lonely old widow, something like that. Sometime around a day or two after taxes were a good idea, politicians got involved and they've sucked ever since. California politicians lost their collective minds. They have the highest income tax in the country and their sales tax is in the top 10 as worst, not good. And before you say it, stop typing. It's not just the liberals and the Democrats. Ronald Reagan, Pete Wilson, and Schwarzenegger didn't go light on taxes when they ran the state of California. Number 5, crime. Crime may not be the worst in California, but it ain't good. When you have cities like East LA, Stockton, Fresno, Oakland, and even Compton, what do you expect? It actually would be considered the worst state on crime if they counted politicians ripping you off on every paycheck. Yeah, that would push them right over the top, I imagine. They'd blow past St. Louis and everyone. Number 4, the shine is gone. The dream of California is over. Now, it's still a great state in a lot of ways. It's one of the biggest economies in the world, which means pretty much nothing to the average resident. The beaches are great, the wine is great, Disneyland, but the people have realized it's not worth the cost. The California life has always been somewhat of an illusion. When all we saw were movies and television, people thought the streets of California were paved in gold. Now that we have like the internet and things like YouTube, people see past the illusion. They see the real California and they see how much it costs to live in this state and all the problems, and they're just going, it's not worth it. And they're moving out and they're moving on. Number 3, the homeless. California has a lot of homeless people, and that's just a fact. You've got your standard homeless people that are hardcore living on the streets, and then you have a whole bunch of people in a lot of these cities that are living in their cars to save money, or they can't afford their rent. They're saving money for student loans, or whatever. I talked about this in a recent video. I mean, if you're going to be homeless, why not do it in a place that's got really good weather, you know? It only makes sense. But really, California does have a lot of homeless. Now, if you watch anything I've ever done on California, and then you look at the comment section, you'll see a whole bunch of people left comments about how there's poop in the streets of San Francisco. Now, there's a backstory to that. This all started with a story in the San Francisco Chronicle in 2014. Someone did a story about the streets with the most reports of poop, like reported to the city to have them come out and clean it. Now, the article didn't say it was just humans. The reports were of all droppings. Dogs, cats, humans, whatever. Now, this lady makes a map and puts it online. It was sort of in jest. You know, she was just making a joke kind of, or, you know, mocking the situation. She posts this thing online. The story gets tossed around and the map gets tossed around from different websites for a couple of years, and then Rush Limbaugh gets a hold of it. And he falsely claims that the map is a city project that was made because of the out-of-control poop problem, and that homeless people are pooping all over the streets, and it's just bad. You can't even go down a street without, and he just blew this thing out of proportion. Now, having poop in the streets is not a good thing, but the deal is this. You are going to have feces in the streets wherever you have homeless or pets or wild animals, whatever. It just happens. They don't have a bunch of readily available bathrooms for homeless people. We all have homes. That's where we go. They don't. It's going to happen. I've actually seen it in Oklahoma City. So it happens in all cities, not just San Francisco. You guys need to let it go. Quit listening to Rush Limbaugh.
Number 2, housing. House and rental prices are what's driving 30% of the people out of California. Back in the 80s, 90s, you just moved a couple miles east of the ocean and homes became affordable. That dream popped over 10 years ago. You have to keep going east to find affordable housing for the average blue-collar worker now. You might end up going as far east as, say, I don't know, Iowa or Mississippi to find affordable housing. And Slab City doesn't count. Quit bringing it up in the comment section. Every time I bring up California home prices, everyone says, not everyone, a bunch of people say, move to Slab City. Slab City is where like homeless people move to or people living off the grid. 99% of the population would never move there. But it is an interesting story, so I'd, suggest Googling it. Give an example of how bad it got. Back around 2000, my uncle's a decorator, and he decorated and painted this house that was right on the beach in Redondo Beach, California. I mean, it wasn't even a house. It was a condo. And between you and the ocean was just sand and a set of stairs. It was right there. Back then, around 2000, 2001, it was going for $550,000. So we thought that was a lot of money. $500,000, over $500,000. I looked it up. Currently, it's on the market, the same place, almost 20 years later, it's going for $1.8 million. This is almost a studio apartment. This is like 2 bedrooms, I believe, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room, and the ocean view. That's incredible. And number 1, the cost of living. The cost of living in California is obscene. There's no other way to put it. It's just gross. Now, granted, if you get away from the coast, it does get cheaper, like housing, but not much. Besides, about 70% of the people moving in or out of the Golden State are going to the coastal cities. So really, that's most of the focus on this video and almost any study on California migration. And this is the part of the video where people start leaving comments about how I'm bitter because I can't afford living in California anymore. Just to let you know, I can. There's a few places, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, maybe Malibu, California, places like that, Beverly Hills, that I can't, but 80% of California I can afford to live in decently. The thing is, myself and so many other people don't see the value in living in California anymore. Why spend that kind of money to live someplace that's overcrowded, has horrible air quality, and standstill traffic most any day in most any city? And all of you about to talk some trash, stop typing. Look at your next paycheck and see how much is going to the state of California. When you're done crying, call a moving company and head to Texas. All right, so that's my top 10 reasons people are leaving California. Hope you got some information out of it. Hope it was entertaining. Now, there's one other one that probably should have been on there because it's brought up a lot. And a lot of people say they don't want to move there because it's too liberal. I don't get that one. It's not like if you move to a place, the liberals force you to vote liberal. That's just like, it doesn't make sense. Cost of living, air quality, crowds, traffic, that all affects you. If someone's a liberal next door, why does it affect you? It doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're bothered by all the things that happen from their votes, I get it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. No one forces you to vote liberal if you move to any place, or conservative, or anything else. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a comment, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.